Hi, YouTube. It is Ty, and I am here with something that you all have been asking me for. I just kind of threw it out there on a lark, and you all were like, Ty, absolutely yes. So the question was, do you all want me to feature Jet Beauties? And I just meant in my community tab. And I was lucky enough to have actual Jet Beauties reach out to me and say, hey, I was a Jet Beauty, and I have one of them with us today. So please welcome our very special, very beautiful guest, Natasha Raisor. How are you doing on today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you for coming. And so, before we get too deeply into this, I do want to let them in on a little secret because you and I have communicated before. I met you through YouTube. We watched some of the same channels. You watched my channel, and I reached out to you and I said I would like to do a collaboration, and it just never worked out. And then lo and behold, I said I wanted to start interviewing Jet Beauties, and you're like, oh, I was one. So, how often does that come up in conversation for you that you get to tell people that you are a Jet Beauty without looking like it's bragging?
Never. Not
So,
since
if I
1996.
had, like, it's crazy because if I had never brought that up, I would never know that about you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I sometimes tell people, but usually no one cares.
Well, look, we care. And so, like if you all are watching this interview in real time, what happened is that I posted her Jet Beauty picture on my community tab. And I said that, if we have some questions that, I would ask them, if we have some really good questions. And what I saw was that a lot of people care. So there are a lot of women saying how beautiful you look, a lot of men saying that, hey, I would risk life and limb to be able to ask this girl out on a date. So people care. I just want to let
Yeah,
you
I,
know.
I really appreciate that because, it's like it was a big deal to me then. And I always hoped because, my goal when I was young, I was like, oh, I want to be a pinup. And then, like, now, like, when I saw that, when you were asking for Jet Beauties, it made me feel so good. It brought back such nostalgia. And it reminded me of, like, hey, this is what you wanted 27 years ago when you took that picture. So
Wow.
it does mean a lot to
27
me.
years. That's
You
good.
know,
I'm glad to know that because, um, Jet Beauties, for people who got Jet Magazine, and it was, like a lot of, I'll say, Black families for sure. I know that I grew up with that magazine. I'm born in 1976. And my parents always had Jet, Ebony, Essence, Time, National Geographic, right? But I
yeah.
remember looking at those women and thinking how beautiful they were. I knew pretty much every issue, page 43. I wanted to see the Jet Beauties and I wanted to see, the top singles and the top albums, usually on pages 63 and 64. And so here I am now talking with one of those beauties. It doesn't surprise me at all that they want to know what you ladies are doing now and they want to know how those beauties that they grew up with, are still looking. And you look fabulous, by the way.
Thank you.
So I want to get into some questions. So tell us a little bit about the process. How did you become a Jet Beauty?
Well, I was at the Crenshaw Mall, the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall, and a man came up to me and asked me if I was a model. And I said yes, because it was the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall. Because it wasn't like some malls. Like if you were in the San Fernando Valley, somebody was probably trying to ask you to get into porn. If you were in Beverly Hills or Hollywood, they're trying to ask you to be an escort. But there it was like yes. He's asking me if I wanted to be a model, and if I was a model, I said yes, which I had done some modeling previously, and he introduced me to Howard Moorhead, who's a huge photographer. And then Howard Moorhead introduced me to Lamont McLemore from the Fifth Dimension, and he's the one that took my pictures for Jet.
Right. As he took a lot of those Jet Beauty pictures,
Yeah,
like from from all of those early decades. I
yeah,
know later, um, the 2000s era, Dawes Tidwell, I don't know if you're familiar with that name, was the
Mm-hmm.
name that I would always see. And I actually, I didn't tell you this ahead of time, but he approached me in a nightclub to shoot me for Jet Beauty of the Week. I did not take him up on the offer. He had already did a session with my sister. So there are
Huh?
three sisters. I'm the ugly duckling, but he saw me
Beautiful.
and he says, "Well, thank you." And he was like, "Hey, I shoot for Jet Magazine for Jet Beauty of the Week. Would you consider shooting with me?" And I was like, "Sure." I had never really thought about it. And he was already telling me, he's like, "Well, I was living in a suburb of Houston, this nice little country club situation at this place called Crosby,
Yeah.
Texas, and a town within it called Newport." And he's like, "Okay, well, we're gonna have to say that you're from there because I can't like submit like 100 girls from Houston." And so he would use all the little outskirt towns, and and it was really interesting. But I was like, I just didn't. I was just not confident enough to do it. I was a dancer, professional dancer, ballet, and all that stuff. But so I have an opportunity, but you took it, and people are going crazy about your picture right now in my community tab. So that's how it started for
I,
you. My next question: how was your experience as a Jet Beauty? Like, what was the photo shoot like? Was it exciting? Did you take someone with you? What happened on that day?
oh, it was amazing. I mean, everything that led up to that was amazing. Um, but the day of the photo shoot, I was Lamont had a mansion, south of Ventura Boulevard and in Sherman Oaks, and it was beautiful. He had this room that called the Moroccan room, and like Jane Kennedy hung out there, and everybody. And so yeah, the photo shoot, I had a makeup artist who he was a friend of mine for years. Um, there was an assistant there, two photographers, lighting, studio. I mean, yeah, it was just awesome. Took tons of photos. It was an amazing experience. Just the nicest people, just so cool. And then I knew, because he's with the fifth dimension, so there with the fifth dimension. So there was all the plaques on the wall and pictures of like all the celebrities that had been there, Muhammad Ali, Diana Ross, like just
Wow.
everybody.
And then there's you. And so you're in this room where all these amazing people have been and this amazing experience is happening. So what was it like having, a full glam squad and all these people attending to you on that day?
I loved it. I loved it. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I wish I could have that every single day.
Well, the good thing is that you don't need it. Okay, you have it going
Thank you.
on, and so it must be, what I mean, like super great to just not have to have all that. It's nice when you can, but it's great to not need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See,
It was
there's
it
going to
was
be
also
some.
good too because like the little people, little boys that kind of dissed me from high school and stuff, and everybody saw my Jet magazine. They were like, "Oh my god," you know.
Oh, so there were actually boys who were dissing you in high school. Tell us more because it's going to be hard to believe.
Oh, yeah, you know how it is. How I mean, I don't know, but they were yeah, there were some sad ones. They were sad that they missed out
Really?
on me. Then everybody was trying to talk
Well,
to
I
me.
bet. I bet that's insane. So you got to say Nan and Boo Boo, look at me, I'm a Jet Beauty of the Week.
Oh yeah, and then there was like an ex boy who had dumped me for this other little girl, this little fast girl, and after high school, she was already a mess and hadn't done well for herself, and here I am, the Jet Beauty of the Week. So that was nice.
Very
Yes.
nice. I love it. Oh my gosh, I love stories like that. I absolutely love that. So you go through this wonderful experience. You have this day of glam. You're taking these amazing photos. Then your picture goes up. The boys who were making fun of you get to see it. Everyone gets to see it. So obviously there are some people who are cheering for you and like, all right, Natasha made it here. What other opportunities did that photo shoot open for you? What other doors did that open?
Well, I had a modeling career where I was able to support myself for probably a consistent 15 years after that. And I was not, I'm born and raised in LA, lived in LA, but I'm not tall, so I couldn't do fashion modeling. And I wasn't really sure what they thought necessarily because there wasn't too much for Black women back then, very, very few things. And so because I had an actual published photo, I could go to photo shoots, photographers, places, and I didn't have an agency, but I was like, hey, I a published photo. So because I had a photo that was published, they knew pretty much, okay, she's going to show up on time, somewhat sober at least, and she's going to be able to take her picture. We can take her pictures.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So that gave you basically like credibility
Yeah.
without a resume.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you supported yourself for 15 years as a model.
Yeah.
What kind of jobs did you do?
I had other jobs too, but consistently, I always had modeling. I always was like, oh, I'm gonna have a backup job, but like, but I should. Well, I mean, I focused on it, but that was what was always consistent for me. But yeah, I mean, I worked in fashion. I was a studio stylist, hair, makeup, and then I joined the Navy Reserves after September 11th. So then that took me, my career in a different direction. So I didn't model as much once I joined the Navy, just because people in the Navy, it's already difficult as a woman to be in. And this was 2002. They're so
Right.
nosy and just, they always got something to say. They ain't never happy for you. They always up in your business.
Right. Oh man. Well, first of all, thank you for your service. I
uh,
do want to listen. And who knew that we had such beautiful, women serving our country, right? Um, I want to come
Thank you.
back to that. Thank you. Um, so there was a time before your shoot that the write up that would go along with the Jet Beauty of the Week, they would ask the girl, well, I don't know if they would ask them, but we would read something about what
Mm-hmm.
their career aspirations were. She's whatever, this, and they would give the measurements as well. This 36, 23, 35 girl wants to be a nurse when she grows up, blah, blah, blah. Now, in your shoot, they didn't ask or we didn't see anything about the career aspirations, but that was pretty common in the 90s and the 2000s. But what did you want to do back then? And did you go on to do what you wanted to do at that time?
I ended up, yeah, everything I've ever wanted to do, I did it. Um, I,
Awesome.
I, I'm sure they asked me what my career aspiration was. It was probably like, I don't even know, probably just to be a supermodel, something like that.
Yeah.
What they asked me, but I know they asked me my hobbies, and I wanted to stand out from everybody else and be all that. So I put skydiving and scuba diving, and I have never done either one. I don't. I couldn't even swim when I did that photo shoot because I didn't even learn how to swim until I joined the Navy.
Are you serious? Now, I just always have this assumption that people who grew up near a coast that we know how to swim. So I'm not east or west. I'm third coast. I'm Gulf Coast. And it's just like, we have access to the water. And so like there's just this notion that we all know how to swim.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to mess up my hair.
Well, I understand that. I can relate to that for sure. That's hilarious to me. Okay, so I wonder how many of those beauties lied about their hobbies now. You got me wondering.
I'm sure all did. It was so funny though, because I got on some dating show, like, a while later, and the prize was a skydiving trip, right? Because the guy who was running thought I like skydiving.
Right up your alley.
Yes, and I kept that up too. Like I did, I kept that lie up. I mean, yeah, I kept that up for years. I think today's the first time I've actually told the public that it was a lie.
Well, all right, so leave it up to Ty's hot mess history to get down to the nitty gritty. I've been finding some scandals in Jet magazine. I did not expect to find one in the Jet Beauty of the Week section.
And I always send my mom your stuff, your hot mess history. She loves it, and she's like, "I'm always waiting to see you and Mama Mila," which is my grandma. Is my mom said she's always waiting to see us on hot mess history.
Well, looky here. Okay, so she'll get to see that one more time. And the intro that I was kind of thinking about for this is that, I do find hot mess history when I go to old issues of Jet Magazine, but this time we're just talking about what was hot in Jet Magazine, all those beautiful hot Jet beauties of the week. But I did not realize we would be able to get a little bit of a, hot mess history scandal. Who knew they were lying, y'all? But I think that they'll forgive y'all because y'all were all so beautiful. So I think it'll be okay. Okay, so you mentioned that you joined the Navy, and how long did you have that Navy career, and what else did you do career wise? I know that you said that your modeling kept you busy. What all did you do?
Well, I just retired November of last year, so I did actually 21 years in the Navy. But also, I've sold cars. I've been in the fashion business, hair and makeup, and I work corporate security. And I'm still doing hair and makeup now. I'm focusing more on skincare and anti-aging. But yeah, I got a military pension coming in and all that. So
Very nice. Um, okay, skincare and anti-aging. We'll talk after the interview. Those are things that are very near and dear to my heart.
and I served in 2 wars, so I'm a combat veteran. And my job in the Navy, I was military police. I was master at arms. So yeah, I'm combat veteran.
Oh, so you're
And
a
I
real
just
life.
Yeah, 2018, I was in Afghanistan, and I served 9 months in Afghanistan. I did in Afghanistan. Yeah, I was in helicopters, all that. I did customs there. When I was in Operation Iraqi Freedom. I was in Kuwait. I was a prison guard, and I mean, Navy. I've been all over the world. I've been Korea. I've been everywhere. Korea, Italy. I've just had, yeah, everywhere.
So what's it like traveling in the Navy? Do you ever get to like go off on your own and experience the city the way that maybe a vacationer would, or are you always on
Yeah,
duty?
yeah. Because I was expeditionary, so I was never on a ship. And be a military police, you kind of get to do your own thing. So, we just kind of do
Okay.
whatever we because we the popo. So it's like, check us.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. So just a beauty and an all around badass, if we can say that. I would say that's how we'd have to describe you. So now I want to ask, what are you doing as far as your social media? Because we know that everybody's got social media today. So you let me know where we can reach you. What can we find on your different social medias?
Well, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and you can see me doing wig reviews. and just trying to get it together. I'm learning now. I just took a class, so try how to get the editing in and all of that. So I will be posting up more stuff, now that I'm out the Navy and everybody can't be up in my business. But
Okay.
yeah, I do skincare, talk about health and hair care, where to get cheap
Okay.
clothes, how to do everything on a budget.
Okay, so that's like something that people will definitely be interested in. And I want to touch on something because one of the comments that I noticed over and over and over when I posted your photo in my community tab was that people, I mean, look, everyone loves natural hair, and I'm loving that, that there's a natural hair movement coming back. But there were tons of comments about your natural beauty and your natural hair. And you did mention, though, that you do wig reviews. And all the men, how you hear it over and over. Oh, we're tired of these lace front wigs, and oh man, this girl looks so good. No fake hair, no fake eyelashes. And look, and that is true. But you also do wig reviews. So can you talk about why a woman who has long hair might sometimes, wear a wig, or why a woman in general might wear wigs? Because there is a lot of, blowback that women get, especially Black women.
Oh, well, when I was modeling, especially, I these white people who did not have any idea how to do our hair. If you wanted to get your hair messed up, you get your hair messed up. So they would tear up your hair because it wasn't always, you didn't, you had to bring your own foundation with you, your own makeup, because they weren't always gonna hook you up, right? And also too, I didn't have an agency and I had to bring in all kind of different looks. So I needed to look all kind of ways, sometimes, racially ambiguous or however they wanted me to look. So in order to make money, I needed to make sure I could change up my look and make myself look like a completely different person. And with my clientele too, after I started doing cosmetology, I keep people's hair healthy, and
Yeah.
wigs are protective styles. And and it's like a lot of these men, they say, "Oh, we don't like this, we don't like that," but then they want to be with the Kardashians. So they just need to be
Right.
healthy.
Yeah.
They don't even
Somebody's
know.
lying.
Yeah, and like they don't
Somebody's
even
lying
really
about
know
this
what.
distaste for fake hair and fake body parts because these Instagram girls are getting a lot of attention, and I don't think it's coming from
Yeah,
women.
and they don't even know.
True. um, okay, so a very important question. Once I posted your picture on the community tab, the question that I saw more than any question was how long has Ty been your favorite YouTuber?
Oh gosh, what I discovered, I would say since 2020. No, I love the hot mess history. Nobody can even compare to that. There's nothing like that.
Okay, I might be lying. Maybe only one person or maybe zero people asked that question, but
Well, I'm not lying.
well, thank you. I
And
appreciate
they're
that.
both
Now I feel
believers
good.
too. So
Yes, that is true. I remember that when we were first talking about collaborating, we learned a few things about each other, and I was like, I really want to work with this girl. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I call myself a girl too. I'm an
hey,
older
that's
woman,
fine
but
with me.
whatever. Right? Hey, who would know the difference? Because you are very, very youthful looking. And now I have some questions though, some real ones from that community tab post. And first, I want to shout out to Antoinette Bailey, who's a channel member, who just wants you to know that you are gorgeous. And she says, tell her we're excited to hear from her. And that is
Thank you,
extremely true.
Antoinette.
Yes. And then my another channel member, Darnell. did say that you are beautiful, as we can all
There you
see.
go.
And you kind of already answered his first question, but I will, well, I'll ask you his second question. I might have asked that too. Sorry, Darnell, if I already asked your question. Are you still recognized from your appearance in Jet Magazine?
No.
Well, I think we're going to have to change that. You know what? Okay, so the thumbnail that I've made for this video, we need to make that into a t-shirt and a tank top and a towel,
Well, you
head
know what?
wrap.
It's so funny because there were T-shirts made of me, right? And the photographer took one of the T-shirts. I was wearing this like red bodysuit thing, and of course it was see-through, right? And
Yeah.
who just happened to, for no reason, be at the store where they were printing out the T-shirts and saw them hanging up was my mom, and my mom was like, "There are some T-shirts that you topless at the store." I was like, oh my God, like of all the things that they decided to make into a t-shirt, it was that one.
Well, you got recognized. So,
Yeah, and my mom, well, yeah, by my mom. So that was,
hey, I'm just on the bright side. You did get
that was,
right.
yeah, it was, yeah, it was my mom and her second husband at the time. So that was stressful.
Oh, great. Okay, that's good. That's good stuff. Oh, Lord. Okay. Next question from Cinnamon Sugar. And I'm going to, well, okay, I'll just put it the way that she said it. She didn't phrase it as a question, but this is what she said. I'd like to hear her talk about what the modeling girlies were doing back then. And then also, was there a model to video vixen pipeline? And she wants to know your thoughts on the IG models of today. Any comparisons to, the models back then to the IG models of today?
Yes, well, there was the model to video vixen. Um, and they really kept that, they gate kept on that whole video vixen thing because before it was just like with the agencies, because I knew, like Melissa Ford and Katoy and all them. Well, I mean, I didn't know them personally, but I'd be in the same areas with them, and even too, like it's Karen Steffens, and those girls would have agents, but it was difficult. Like, you had to have a certain body type. So I was what they called girl next door and classic. Those were,
Okay.
what the terms were for me back then. Now, wasn't nobody really trying to have that. So to be a video
Wow.
vixen, it's like I would have had to have gotten plastic surgery. I would have had to gotten my breast done. And, like I wasn't gonna do that. So, cause you
Let me
to do
ask you
that,
this.
like they want you to have plastic surgery, and these agents they don't even pay. It's like most of them they don't pay for it, or if they do pay for it, you got to pay them back. So you don't even necessarily make the money like you would think because
Right.
all of these people and all these girls that you would see, and even like models who did Vogue and stuff, people would think that like, oh, they were making tens of thousands of dollars. And a few of them were, but most of them weren't. So you could still make just as much money doing trade shows and just being yourself as then going to get all this plastic surgery and spending the money on the plastic surgery, having to deal with a whole bunch of rappers and stuff like that. It wasn't worth it. This was not
Got
worth it.
it. So you mentioned that they would have to, that if you were going to go that route, you would have needed to get a breast job. What about butt jobs back then? Was that really a
They didn't.
thing? Or,
They have butt shots. So like now, you can go to the doctor and actually get a healthy butt job from a doctor. Back then, it was butt shots, which was the silicone
Okay, but
shot.
they were enhancing their rears back then because it does, and I'm saying that because to bring up again Cinnamon's question, it seems like butts back then seemed more realistic. Like the IG girls seem to have like there's these huge, like no one ever looks like that type of butt. And if the girls in the like 90s and 2000s were doing like butt shots, it seems like it was a more natural look than what we see with the IG girls of today.
Yeah, it was. And also too, because then the photos that you took were professional shots. So the photographer would take it at an angle, have the lighting a certain way. So that would enhance your butt or enhance whatever part of your body they wanted to enhance. Now with the IG models, because you're taking pictures yourself and with the phone, and you don't have like that whole studio of where they're posing you in such directions. But no, the bodies definitely weren't. One thing in like the 2000s, it was still very skinny. So like what was thick then is now considered, well, now it's going back to everybody looking skinny again. But
Right.
like back then, I was considered thick. And yeah, so now, I'm not so much considered thick, but people were like a size
Right.
0, size 2.
Yeah, that's interesting how the beauty standards change and beauty types, like what's in vogue, changes for women. It's like how do we keep up? So I'm proud of you, and I'm glad. I know you must be thankful that you didn't go and change your body, you know. And now the body type that you have is back in fashion again. But frankly, I don't think that it ever went out of fashion. What do you think?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm very glad I didn't, because the people that I know who did it, it's like they have to get their breasts redone, and medical insurance doesn't take care of it. They don't have the money. I probably wouldn't have been able to join the Navy had I had them in, because they do your X-ray. They don't take you with any kind of health issues. So at that time, I wouldn't have
Oh,
even been able to get in if I'd gotten them done. And it's the upkeep and everything. And then two, I really learned how to do makeup and the wigs and hair and everything. I really learned how to do that based on how I had to make myself look different and how I had to change things. So it gave me a skill that then I could take out, that got me paid. I had a skill after that.
right. That is interesting. So, what do you think about the Instagram models, or the notion of the Instagram women calling themselves models? Because a lot of women who I know came up as models in your time and before don't recognize these Instagram models as models. What do you think about that whole notion?
I think it's amazing. I am so happy for them. I'm so happy that there's a platform for everybody. And because when I was in it, there was nothing hardly for black women. There might be like one or two black women. So it didn't matter how pretty you were, how hard you worked,
Right.
how anything, they were taking one. Because I also did broadcasting too. And that was really my goal, was to be a news anchor. And I worked in broadcasting. I interned for Sam Rubin at KTLA, everything. But they would not take you. Well, for one thing, they don't pay anything. So you're doing internships, you're not getting paid. So you have to have a family with money that can support you. But also, they'll only, depending on who the audience was, they would only take like a percentage. So if, say, their audience was mostly white and maybe 2% black or 10% black, they'd only have like one or black anchor. And then you had to be a beauty queen. So like Oprah, Oprah was a beauty queen. So they wouldn't even let you on unless you were a beauty queen already. And now it's so amazing because all these women also too, they have control over their own pictures, their images. I mean, there's so many pictures of me out there that I've never gotten the pictures taken. have no idea where the pictures is. They were supposed to give me pictures, and because it was filmed back in then. I don't have them pictures. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened to them. I even have a good friend that I still see, and I'm like, where are my pictures? I still don't have my pictures.
Wow. Okay, good friend. Give her those photos, okay?
Yes, there's a picture of me and because there's a picture with me and Shamar Moore, and I'm like, I still want that picture.
Yeah, you deserve to have your picture, you know?
Yes,
Put
I
that
was
on
at
your
his Christmas
Instagram.
party.
Oh, how cool. Yeah. Okay, come on, friend. Friend, give her that photo. Come on now. Oh, that's interesting. And we were just I just did a live stream a couple of days ago and you were there
Mm-hmm.
and your comment came in near the very end and I can't even remember what I was discussing, but I saw your comment and what you just said reminded me of it. You were saying something along the lines of people not realizing how hard it was to even be seen as a black person in a form of media. Do you remember what that? I can't remember what my live stream was
Yeah, because
about, but I saw that you made that comment.
people were talking to you about making money on YouTube, and why give YouTube all your money, and how the platform was
Right,
changing. And you were saying, hey, we're lucky to have this platform. And I agreed with you so much because we are very lucky to have this platform. There was, just to get a reel back in the day, it was $900. So, I mean, in the 90s and the 2000s, to come up with $900 for a reel. And that
yeah,
was the other thing too. Unless you were published in something, you couldn't get into anything. And then you've got the unions that keep people out of stuff, the act SAG and all these
tag.
things that would keep you out, all these gatekeepers. So you have to deal with all the gatekeepers. And then, photography, I mean, it was expensive. Like, to get a portfolio done might cost you $500. And then you might not even like the pictures. Now you can take your own pictures. You can come on YouTube. You can be anybody you want to be. You can have any kind of accent. You can look any kind of way. You can talk about whatever you want. And that was not like that. I mean, I did TV shows, and you'd be there for 15, 16 hours maybe to get one shoot, and you have three lines, and then they cut you out the whole movie after you done told them why
Right,
you're gonna be in a movie. You ain't in
right.
no movie. It'll cut you out that movie.
You had a whole watch party at your house. Come on, y'all. It's about to come
Yeah,
on. Let's.
I remember, like, there was this rapper. I don't know if I could say who it is, but
If you want to, you
I
can.
mean,
But I mean, for
yeah, it was
your
it was Eminem back in the day. And I
okay,
auditioned for one of his video, and the casting agents let all the black girls know none of us were going to be featured in the video, right? Because he wasn't featuring no black girls in the video. So I think the most you made if you featured was like, might have been $300. Like, even a feature, it was like not a lot of money. So it's like, so now we got to be here all day, and we already know we ain't even gonna make. It was either 300 or 500, but it's like, so now we got to be here all day. We'd already been here all these hours, and now you done told us we ain't gonna be featured because we black, and that's how it would be. Yeah.
whoa. Now that is interesting. Do you remember what song it was?
No,
Okay,
no, because I didn't know what song it was. They didn't.
got it.
Yeah, it was
So
like,
wow, to be told straight up that there's not even a chance. You
oh, they
know,
tell us straight up all the time. Like, I did stuff for like Cash Money Records, and I did stuff for BET. And like, I remember BET, they were featuring the non-black girls, right? This was like the late 90s. Yes, that's how they'd always want to do it.
wow. I'm not surprised though. I'm just surprised to hear it. And I'm looking at you, and you have you know, the aesthetic look of what people would call a preference as a black woman, lighter skin, you know, thick, long, natural hair. And that seems like, okay, if we are going to use black women, then we want black women who look like this, but to be told to look the way that you look, and, you know, and to still be told, well, yeah, no, not you.
Oh yeah, no, not when somebody non-black came. It's like, okay, yeah, no, that's
Wow.
it's like somebody, Latina or white, of, but yeah. And this would be for
And this is
BET.
BET. This is
Yeah,
BET, not Eminem. BET telling black women, or showing black women that we'll use anyone except for you.
yeah. Now it would be one thing because I go on lots of castings, and you would know, like, if it was an old white man at that time, like around 40, I would know I'm not getting this job, unless he was from Europe.
Okay. Okay.
I already knew. But like when black people would tell, because especially when the video vixen era really started getting big, and then when you would have black people tell you that was the worst. Because it's like you expected
Yeah.
it from the white people because they would say it, but like, can you come back and look
Right.
more Caucasian? But when you hear it from the black people,
Oh my gosh. That's very interesting. Unfortunately, it's not surprising, just based on some other research that I've done on other, you know, topics about this kind of stuff. But thank you for sharing that with us. That is something else. Hmm. Okay, Slim Shady, we hear you. Okay, and so I remember what the question is, but let me get her name. Her name is Chic Noir, and she wants to know how you have maintained your fitness over the years. You do look absolutely amazing.
thank you. I do what is called kind of like biohacking, which was
Okay.
big from in California, like started off in Northern California. So I do like a budget friendly version of that. But yeah, I do the saunas. Um, I take herbs because I don't dye my hair or anything. So I don't, and I'm
Okay.
49 and I hardly have any gray. So I take herbs. I take, I mean, so many supplements. I take, gosh, I don't know, probably like 15, 20 supplements a day. So I've been on this wellness journey for probably like 27 years, like once 28 years. But I do, yeah.
Since your photo shoot,
Hmm?
since your photo shoot with Jet, because that was 27 years ago.
Yeah, well, it was actually before because I did that. I was 22 and I started it when I was 21, and I lost a lot of weight. So, like, I don't eat fast food. Yeah, I don't eat fast food. I don't drink. I drink alcohol, but I don't drink beer.
Hmm.
I don't drink
Hmm.
sodas. Don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke weed either. So I don't
Hmm.
smoke any
Right,
weed.
right. Nice. That is good to know. Okay, so it's so a lot of supplements, and you're definitely very cautious of what you're consuming, whether it's drinking or eating. And then your fitness routine, is there a workout routine that you like are heavy into?
You know what? I just do something all the time. Like at work, I sit on an exercise ball. I use a vibration machine at home. I don't have like a set thing. I just try to keep moving all the time. So when I'm watching TV, I'll do my elliptical. I just kind of,
Got it.
just walk around and just do something. I like to go out dancing a lot, that.
Nice. I like that. And I can see how that works because you're not, you know, putting in a ton of extra calories. So you don't have to like do some kind of like crazy, you know, yeah, insane workout to like work things off. So it sounds like a lot of it is like preventative maintenance type of situation that you're doing with your body. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you don't have to like just go crazy 8 days a week in
Yeah,
the
because like
gym.
when I'm cleaning, I'll wear my exercise bands or something and try to get squats in while I'm mopping so I can get everything done at once.
Well, look, if you ever, decide to put that on a webcam, I'm sure that you could get a ton of views. So maybe you can can put you and your exercising, squatting on your TikTok and just, blow this thing out of the water.
I got a couple of
So,
me doing stuff.
well,
Like I got something I put up of me in my sauna suit.
okay. Yeah, look, and I'm a huge fan of the sauna. I work out at a sauna gym called Hot Works, where you can go in there and do your hot yoga, hot Pilates, or whatever. Like that's kind of I love the heat. I love the heat of it
Yeah.
all. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and I'm out of questions. But do you have anything, any words of wisdom, anything else you want to tell us before we get out of here?
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you so much to all the nice people in the comments. I mean, it made me feel so good, like that people cared or that even thought about it. So I'm really happy. Like it just, made me feel good, and I appreciate the.
Oh, they
So I just
care
want to
a
say
lot.
thank you. That's, I guess that's. I don't really have any wisdom to give, but.
Well, no, you've given enough in telling us your fitness routine and your self care routine. So on YouTube and on Instagram and TikTok, are you Natasha Raisor Glam?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, so you all, I will have the links to all of her social media in the description box of this video. And I'm so looking forward to revealing you are our very first interview. So we have another couple of Jet Beauties that we've been, who we've been talking to. And I'm looking forward to making this a series. People do care. So I'm so glad that you now know that we care, like that the work that you did, it was important. It might just seem to some people like just a picture of a pretty girl, but there were so many women who, when I post those Jet Beauties in my community tab, they'll say like, I looked up to that woman. I wanted to be one of those Jet Beauties. I always thought that they were so beautiful, and she's not just beautiful. She's intelligent. She's worked for this country. Like you're the entire total package. And so, yeah, do know that it does mean something to us. It's very important to us.
Thank you. And you're beautiful, Ty. Just
Uh,
beautiful inside of
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm going to get with you and find out about this skincare regimen. Got to get all the things together. But I so appreciate this. And I'm going to invite you to come back. I want to invite you to come back for a live stream. And I do want to do some work with you on another video though, because just some of the things you've told me here, I see a couple of video topics that we collaborate on together. So we're gonna work that out. Thank you all so much for tuning into this interview. Please do not forget to go and check out Natasha Raisor Glam on YouTube, on Instagram, and on TikTok. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Hi, thank you.
If you are a former Jet Beauty of the Week or you know one who would like to be interviewed for this feature on my channel, please email me at tiwan@tysaidwhattysaid.com. This video has been brought to you by me. Well, my Patreon is a sponsor for this video. If you like these dirty scandals on my channel, then you'll love my Patreon, Ty's Too Hot Hot Mess History. It has all of the stuff that I can't talk about or show here because it's just too hot, too violent, too sexual, too graphic, too much. Come and join us there for the hot mess history. The link is in the description box.